Well, hello Phantom Shipmates. I know it's been a long time since I made a YouTube video. Kind of ran out of inspiration there for a while, although I've still been sailing a lot. I'm not very good at YouTube, you know. YouTube is this century's version of money for nothing, chicks for free. Anyway, here's a quick update of where I am. Check out this boat. This is an 82-foot Grand Mistral that was made in France in 1996. They made 8 of them, I think, to do round the world races, and the project fell through and the boats still exist. What a massive and fantastic boat it is. Our skipper is down below right now. His name is Chris Stanmore-Major. More about him later. Chris has special plans for this boat. I'll tell you about it in more detail. He's going to do what's called a westabout. And I'll explain what a westabout is when I'll do a short interview with Chris, and I'll let him tell you. But he's going to do a westabout in this 82-foot boat solo. There you go. And check out that mast. That mast and a brand new sail that's on it. That mast is, in terms that are that I can identify with, twice the height of the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. And the sail is massive. The sail weighs 200 kilos, and it takes about 6 of us working the grinders together to raise it, and it takes 10 minutes. We're dead tired because wow, it's a big challenge. I'll give you some more details on this boat a little later. The name of the boat that Chris chose is Osprey. Osprey sounds dangerously close to all prey, so let's hope that we don't have to resort to that. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let me tell you what we're on, what we're trying to do here. It's a race called the Fastnet Race that occurs every 2 years, and this is the 100-year celebration of the beginning of the Fastnet Race. So I'll give you a quick, very brief update of what that is and show you what it is. Well, hello Phantom Shipmates. As we're preparing 1 week away from the start of the Fastnet Race, I think that some of you may not be aware of the background of this and exactly what it is. So let me give you a very quick overview of the race itself. So we start off the southern coast of England, in fact, just off the Isle of Wight, a place called Cowes. And then we sail down the Solent, and there's 450 boats starting this year, so this should be quite exciting. Then we sail along the southern coast of England, and there's all kinds of strategies and tactics depending on the wind and the tide, the currents and all that. Do you come out deep or do you go up, hug the coast? And that's where all the strategy comes into this. And the zigzags here around Land's End is caused by, there's a traffic separation scheme here. That's what this is. And we're not allowed to sail in the traffic separation scheme. You can go around it the other way. So all of that will depend on what the wind is when we do it. And then sail up to Ireland. This is the southern coast of Ireland, to Fastnet. And Fastnet is a lighthouse on a rock just off the southern coast of Ireland. And then we turn around and come back, and we sail to Cherbourg in France, and around the Cap de la Hague, and then into Cherbourg, which is the end of the race. And it's a 700-mile race, just about. So a good test of everyone. We're starting this, so the crew that I'm with on our boat, we're training all of this week, starting tomorrow morning, and we don't have any pretension of trying to win this race, but we do have a fast boat, a very powerful boat, but it's more the experience than racing, because we haven't been training for months and months together. So this is more of an experience thing that we want to do. So we're ready. My bags are packed. I'm ready to go. Let's go make this happen. Fastnet Race 2025. Well, we just did the start of the Fastnet Race. 440 boats, and I can tell you that was a bit exciting, especially crossing the starting line. You can see the crowd out here. Wow, that got my attention. We had a slight technical problem, so got off to a bit of a late start, but we are just running through this boat is so powerful. We're running through the fleet now, making our way back up forward there. I'm looking at the speed over ground now is 10 knots. So, and here we are coming up on the Needles, which is the end of the Solent, and then we go out into the English Channel towards Land's End. We've really worked our way up well through the fleet. Still quite a number.
Really well, guys.
Still quite a number out in front of us.
The best you'll ever get coming out of the Solent. Doing the centenary Fastnet like that. Speed we've taken up there, nice clean tacks. You've done a great job, thank you. Brilliant work. Name back on, please.
We're blowing our way through a squall right now. It's about, I would guess, 30 knots of apparent.
Fucking machine! Come on! Let's go!
The captain's getting excited here.
Alright, get on there, thank you.
This is his element. He's at home in this. He loves it. Yeah. This is really just an incredible boat. You know, we're used to, I've been sailing 30 and 40 foot yachts, and you put on a sheet onto a winch, or you whip it off and you do it quick. And this boat's here, we're staffed, we got 10 people plus our skipper on board, and everybody works. And you can see, I'll show them up close later, but you can see the size of the winches there are just enormous. The power in everything when you do, you know, when you take, when you sheet it in, you just grind. We use grinders. We have grinders in the middle of there. This is so cool. In fact, the only thing that would make this boat cooler is if it had pop-up headlights. That would make it cooler. A little cockpit tour. One of the first things that really struck me was the size of the winches. We don't even use these two here for anything except trimming up at the final little things, utility winches. This is what we use for hoisting sails and sheeting in the Genoa, and wow, we got for running backstays. This is the one that's a lazy one right now. You can see swapping around. And you just tension those down, and when you ease them off, it makes a tremendous crack. And these are 3-speed winches. You turn this thing here and you get the 3rd speed out of it. But the way they work is with a grinder. So we put all of this on the grinder, and it takes us about 10 minutes to get the mainsail up, and we're all huffing and puffing and dead tired. So that's a real challenge. But just the size and scale and force that's involved with sailing an 82-foot ship is just amazing. So it was a rather humbling experience. That I was a bit arrogant and obnoxious with my experience of my 30 and 40 footers. This is a different world altogether. But we're all just volunteers to come on board here, and not professionals at all. And Chris provides just wonderful training for everybody on how to use these winches, how to be safe. That's the most important thing, because these are incredibly dangerous. If you get your fingers stuck in the sheets or something like that, boy, you could lose a finger or a hand easily if you do this wrong. So there's a great deal of emphasis on safety, always being strapped in as well. So there's opportunities to get onto a boat like this. Just fantastic learning experience. And like I say, with relatively, for amateur, with relatively high level of experience, I've been humbled. We're about to do a tacking maneuver led by our first mate, Pete Cullen.
Okay, let's get ready.
Gotta manage the backstays and the sheets and the grinder. And release the sheet back there. So we got two guys on the backstays. A minute out. We just passed a Class 40 racing boat with a scow hull. That's a speed machine there too. I love that Class 40s. That's fun stuff. So I just wanted to show you a winch that we use for the sheets that I had never seen before, I had never used before, and it can be very dangerous. So let me show you how it is. Now this is the lazy sheet right now. Imagine that we're doing a tack. What you want to do is you start with like 2 turns minimum, 3 turns even better, and then as soon as there's slack, but then immediately bring it round 3 or 4 times at least, like this. And while you're doing that, now there's tension on it. The grinders are turning the grinders here to bring it in. That's what brings it in. You don't bring it in with your arms at all, other than just taking the slack during the tack. And then to tie it off, after the maneuver is done, you have all this tension on these lines here. You bring it through this slot here, around and under the lip, back around, across to the other side, back around again, and you're done. Now you can do, then we do a security lock, just an extra throw around there, or lock it off if you're not going to do it. And it's very impressive the amount of tension that's on this thing. And when you're under tension and you have to let it go, you hold it like this, and you really don't let go too many lines. And then they say that when you're doing the tack and the command is given to let it go, you just let it fly like that, and it'll fly. It'll just spin right off. You don't put your hands anywhere near it because it's too dangerous. And that's how one of these winches work. Shot will be focused on the use of running backstays. That's what these are. The running backstay supports the mast. So this is the leeward on the downwind side, the leeward side, and it's loose right now. But when you shift the sail would, and you can even see right now it should be a little looser because it's touching the sail up high. And you don't want it to touch the sail when on the downwind side because it will just chafe it. So, but if you don't take them off, like this one here is the one that's tight right now. It's right behind me. This one here is under tension, and it supports the mast. It holds the mast up. So when you do a tack or a jibe, one of the most critical elements of it is getting the backstays right. So Pete will begin tightening the backstay when the order is given, of course, and then on this side here, which it will then become the leeward side, they will be easing it as the sail comes across. You don't want the backstays to be touching the sail and chafing and damaging. So all of that will be filmed in the next maneuver.
Anybody not ready?
starting to take up tension on the running backstay that had been the lee backstay before, was loose. And now he's cranking to make it very tight. And Manny on the other side is easing the backstay out. You can see how it's touching the sail up there. And now it's completely loose. And this side here is very, very tight as Pete cranks it in. An absolutely essential piece of equipment on boats like this. And even some small sailboats have these. My RM has the running backstays, but of course nothing to do with the scale of what we're seeing here. But a vitally important piece of equipment. Okay, running backstays. Look at the shrouds on this. And the spreaders. This is a bar steel. I'll have to find out what the proper terminology is for that. But it's not those usual stranded cables that we normally use. Extra reinforced strength. On these big boats you often see a lot of people and you wonder what they all do. But for example, to do a tack, we'd have one person on this winch, on this sheet, another one there, and someone to grind. And then on the backstays, the two backstays, obviously we need a person there in each of those to release the backstay and to tighten the backstay, and of course the helmsman. So kind of the minimum crew to do things comfortably is like 6 people for maneuver. Now our captain, who's at the helm right now, he's going to take this boat solo. We'll talk more about that later. 18 hours into the Fastnet, behind me, and I'm sure you can't see it, on the horizon, is Land's End. So we're leaving the southwest corner of the UK, of England actually, and now we're going to have to make our way across the Celtic Sea. One interesting thing that I forgot to mention yesterday when I was talking about the boat is that the hull of this boat is made of Kevlar. It's Kevlar, coating of Kevlar, some foam, and then inside Kevlar again. So a very strong hull that can take a shock with just about anything. I've never been on a Kevlar boat before, and well, I mean, it performs very well. We cruised through the night. We cruised our way up through the fleet again, basically 10 knots all night long. Doing very well. Great fun. Well, we've got about 100 miles to run on this Fastnet. We're looking at 1.5 meter seas and probably 20, maybe 25 knots apparent wind. The problem is that we've had to tack our way up to Fastnet Rock. That's the bad news. The good news is that everyone else had to do the same thing. So we're expecting to get there sometime mid to late afternoon today, which is 2 days and, let's call it 2 days and 5 hours to get to Fastnet Rock. It's been upwind almost the entire way, and so lots of tacking that added time and distance to the equation. Our boat's probably averaged, I would say 9 knots, goes as high as 11 and low as 8, you know, something like that. But probably between 9 and 10 knots is what we've averaged the whole way. So for a 25-ton boat, it's just amazing how it just cuts through the seas and just power. It's so powerful in everything that it does. We depower it to make it a little more comfortable for us. I'm sure professional racers would keep the pressure on all the time. So I'll next check in when we get to Fastnet Rock. Well, we're getting very close now. I can actually see Ireland in the haze at the distance, and we're, I don't know if they should pick up on the camera, we're doing between 9 and 10 knots all the time now. The one thing before going to the rock is that we need to avoid what's called a TSS, a traffic separation scheme, that is is there for commercial shipping to go through to keep it in an orderly fashion, but for racers it's forbidden to go through there. Normal sailing boats that aren't racing can go through there, but they have to cross them at a right angle. So we have to go around the TSS, and then unfortunately the rock is almost dead upwind from there, so we'll have to tack up a channel to get to Fastnet. So, not too far away now. We're all getting a bit excited about it.
Prepare to tack. John, yeah, good. Backstay on, please. Ready? Good. Alright, anyone not ready? Helms to lee. Backstay, backstay, backstay. Nice and slow, we've got time. Alright John, let drop. Ease that backstay, lovely. Hold, chin. All the way off, Peter, all the way off, all the way off, all the way off. Lovely, lovely. That's great, thank you. Alright, tidy up and start.
And there it is, shrouded in fog, the world famous Fastnet Rock. They couldn't even give us a break and let us see it clearly today. It took us about 52 hours to get here, 53 hours to get here, which is it's a lot longer than the 350 miles that it was, but that's because we had to do a lot of tacking. You know, I've said it before and said it, and I'll say it again, that you know, that's just a rock and a lighthouse. What makes the Fastnet special is the experience. It's the planning. It's all the, it's managing the tides and the wind and the tacking and having a strategy. And on this occasion, for me, was learning very heavy systems of a brand new boat, a new boat for me, which is a very special moment. And for a lot of people on board, this is their first time around Fastnet Rock, so that's kind of a bucket list thing. And I have another reason to be very proud today of getting around Fastnet, is that my daughter has now finished the third volume of her trilogy of Elysian Atlantis, and that's being launched, I think, tomorrow or the next day, and it's destined for children 9 to 14 years old. I've talked about those in the past, her first two volumes, so if you have kids 9 to 14 years old or grandkids, they will absolutely love it. It's a great book, lots of action and junior romance and intrigue and betrayal. So anyway, a special moment for a lot of us. Bucket list stuff, the world famous Fastnet Rock. But you know, the race isn't over. The race doesn't end. We're only halfway. That's the tension. That sound that you hear is the tension of just easing the main sheet. The pressures are so high on this boat here. Anyway, the race isn't over until we get to Sailboat. So we're only halfway. We've got a long ways to go and lots of things to experience. It was 100% upwind sailing to get here, and going home we're supposed to have some downwind sailing as well, so that should be fun. So till later. Phantom shipmates, I want to introduce you to the captain of our of this Grand Mistral 80-foot sailing yacht that we're on, and his name is Chris Stanmore-Major. And he's got a ton of sailing experience, clipper races and all that. And I think I heard him say that he had crossed the North Atlantic 31 times. It's a lot of miles. So I want to give you a point of reference there. In the 10 years that I've been sailing, I've sailed about averaged about 3,500 miles a year. And so I made the calculation that if Chris stops sailing today and I continue at that rate, I'll catch up with him in 90 years. So, hello, Chris.
That's a bit scary, actually. I'm not sure that's good or bad.
So, Chris, you have a very special project in mind for this Grand Mistral 82-foot yacht.
Yeah.
What are you planning to do?
My passion since I first started in sailing was the west around the world. I was inspired by Shea Blythe's story, Di Cafari, Mike Golding, and then Philippe Monet, and then finally Jean-Luc Van den Heede in 2002 set the record at 122 days. It's a monster record, and it is the epitome of seamanship. You know, I would not say that I could go and beat the record, but just to go and do that voyage. They call it the impossible voyage.
Yeah. So this is when they refer to a westabout.
Westabout, yeah.
And now how does that differ from an eastabout?
So we'd have to have about the same mileage. It'd be about 23,000 mileage is the minimum that you can call a circumnavigation. Jean-Luc did it in about 27,000. But when you go and do the normal circumnavigation around the world, you go down the Atlantic and take that left turn and then go beneath the 3 stormy capes. And that's about 66% of the time is downwind. When you go the other way, you're going then against the winds, against the currents, and you need a very special
wind
boat.
and against current.
Yeah, that's it. There's a planet turns, everything's going against you. So it's referred to as the impossible voyage because both the skipper and the boat need to be ready for the challenge, which I don't think we're not there yet. It would not be a humble position to think we can just walk up and do that, but with a bit more prep in the next year. November.
Yeah, when is the race? When is it?
Well, this will be a solo event for me, and it'll be. I'm looking to go on November the 5th of 2026. I figure coming down the channel here, which is the start line, the fireworks will be going off, and it'll make me feel more special.
And are you going to film this adventure while you're on the way?
Absolutely. So I have the Mariner YouTube channel, which has been going for a few years now, and we kind of focus on seamanship and safety and real granular stuff. I think very similar to yourself. And the idea, my stuff I think is a bit less edited, a bit more raw, and it's trying to do quick uploads each day, trying to get people so they feel like they're inside what's happening on the boat. So it'll be filmed from front to back.
And in the preparation leading up to that,
exactly,
you're going to take on people like the crew we have here?
The crew we have here. So Pete's here now as there's a mate on board. He has a lot of experience, but everybody else that's here, we have skill ranges going from don't know really anything about it to people that have been sailing for thousands of miles and have their own big boats. But my background is all sail training from 18 years old in Hong Kong, 330,000 miles right to now. It's all either solo with seamanship as the focus or sail training. So people can jump on board as long as they've got a head on a swivel and they're vaguely sensible. They can come and play.
Okay, and you have some specific events in mind for people to join the crew?
Yeah. We've got, before the end of this year, in 2025, we've got the Middle Sea Race. I'll be filming my voyage into Malta and back out, but Middle Sea Race, 600 miles there.
In the Caribbean?
In the Mediterranean.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And then I'll actually be doing a double-handed with this event across the Atlantic with the co-owner. And then we'll be doing the Caribbean 600 in February of next year. And then we'll look forward to the Newport Bermuda again, which is in July of 2026.
And again, if people want to participate with this in one of those events, they can go to your website. Is that right?
csmthemariner.com is the website. I used to do a lot of sail charter and that kind of thing. People now coming on board, their money goes directly to the preparation of the boat. So this time, this beautiful new mainsail we've got here now, we had a more corporate sponsor, but then these chaps coming on board paid for the last part of it, so there's always an output from people joining us, which makes the project go forward. Okay,
well, we'll leave it at that for right now. csmthemariner.com for more information. And I wanted to just say that, you know, I'm a relatively experienced cruiser, but being on board this vessel for this Fastnet race was just an eye-opener for me. In so many ways, I learned so much. Chris is a great teacher, so if you're at all interested, I'd highly encourage you to jump on board.